Well, hi everyone. A bit of a bumpy start, but I just thought I'd probably do my last video, hopefully, but I'll just update you on what's going on. One of them is we're going to Portugal in about 10 days time for a 3-week holiday, so we're expecting to clock up 3,000 to 4,000 miles. So I've had to change the back tyre. So I thought I'd just quickly run through it on how to get the tyre off. It's dead easy. I don't see why people have got any issues, especially if you get a puncture and you go to a tyre place that doesn't know how to take the back wheel off. It's quite easy. So I've taken the screws out just to quickly run through on how easy it is. So what it is, that's how you've got your puncture, you've got to take your back tyre off. So what you do is you unclip that, which is the cover for your emergency key. Then there's 2 5mm screws up here. Take them out and take the back off. So your back's off, and believe me, the tyre actually comes out of there. When you've taken this back off, there's a little bracket here just to hold that, so you've got to take that off. So that's just 2 10mm bolts. Take that off, and then I've just taken this off. This is the exhaust cover. You've got to take this off just to get the tyre out. It just about comes out, but it won't until you take this off. So this is just a matter of 1 screw under here. Take that out, and you can see these 2 lugs. Push that forward, pop it off, and there it is. And that's all you need to do. And then, of course, undo the 5 bolts on the back wheel. And there's your back wheel out. So you can take that off to get your puncture repaired. So that's how quickly it is. Probably takes about 5-8 minutes to get the tyre off once you've had a practice. And have a practice, it'll help you at some point. So that's a new back tyre. Just to put you in the picture here, if ever you want to take these cowlings off, all you do is take that off, 2 screws, take the 1 screw out, and again, all this is on those lugs. Pull it forward. They're quite tight because from Honda they haven't put any grease on. And to take this one off, there's a bit of an awkward screw up here that really you may have to take your back wheel off to get at. But there's 1 screw up here. Take that out, take this one off, and again that just slides off, and then you've got your exhaust system. So that's that one. The other issue we had was the paint job. So if you can stand over there, Katrine, and as you can see, I didn't get a very good colour match, so I had to send a pannier off to a company in the UK that said they would guarantee a colour match, and it went off. So what I did send off was this. This is the pannier. This is the original Honda pannier. So I sent this off, and it was away for about 3 weeks, and they did a colour match, spraying that part there, because as you know, on the original pannier, that's the Honda clip that goes on there to cover it up. So they did a colour match on here and supplied me with paint, which I haven't used yet because we're going away on holiday, and I thought I'd just leave it. But it's actually 2 colours. Just to update you, there's actually a mud grey colour goes on first, and then on top of it they call it a sparkle. It's actually a sparkle you spray on top of the grey, and they have said that when you've sprayed it grey and leave it for an hour, you spray the sparkle on, and they have said that be careful, because every time you do a swipe over it goes dark. And it all depends on the paint sprayer. So they said really it's a fine spray twice and then the lacquer on top. So hopefully that will be alright for the next colour match for these. So the other thing that I'm fitting is this. This is a Kuriakan strap down that will be going on the front, because we'll be going on a ferry across to Portugal and Spain. So we'll be on a few ferries, so I'm putting one of those on. The other issue we've got is, if you just come around here, Katrine, I'll show you the little issue we had. Well, I've had over a few days. As you can see, everything's wired in, and I've gone through the show chrome. Lovely box that, love it to bits. I've taken everything out of there. But what I've had over the last few weeks is the intercom. I've had problems getting the Garmin talking to the Autocom, sorry. So, because it's all, ours is just wired, you know, where you plug it into your headsets. What I did have was, I've got a 595 on the front and a 590 on the back. But if I ever went to put the 590 on the back, it would never talk to me. And I honestly thought it was the Autocom. So I replaced the Autocom. But in the end, what it ended up being was this little thing. This is the interface that goes on the end of the Garmin, and then it plugs into the two Garmin leads, and then it goes into the Autocom. I cannot believe that there's a broken wire in here, and if I switch the Autocoms, sorry, if I switch the Garmins over, one works and one doesn't. So that's been the failing. So what I have done, I've put a very old unit on, because this is off one of my other bikes, and I believe, honestly, the volume is a lot clearer with this old type unit on. If you remember these, you used to put these on donkeys years ago. But I have seen a big difference in the volume between the Garmin and the headsets in your helmets. So it's actually quite louder with that one instead of the latest one. So if ever you've got the chance and anybody's got any of them lying around, just try it and see whether it does do exactly what it's doing for me. The volume goes up by at least 30%, which is good. So that's the issue we've had. The other thing we did fit, if you just go around here, what we have fitted is these ones, which everybody seems to like. Sorry, there's these indicator lights. Really like them. Very easy to fit, especially with the show chrome. So yeah, so that was that. So one of the big issues we've had in the last fortnight is the DCD clutch dropping out. We've had it happen once, and really, I'm quite sure it was my fault. I'll tell you the scenario. We'd gone out for a day's ride, and we were coming back, and we were on the motorway, and it was road work, so we were restricted to 50 miles an hour, and we'd been in 50 miles an hour for about 5 or 6 miles, just plodding along. But what we do notice that in between 48 miles an hour and 55, it drops down between 7th and 6th. So anyway, we were just tootling along, and then we realised our turning was coming up to pull off, and we were in the third lane, and it was chocker, and we were having a problem to manoeuvre over to get to the first lane. So I was looking for gaps all over the place, and I saw a gap, and I went for it. Being really silly, I dropped it down 3 gears. On here, I was in touring mode, and I flicked this down 3 gears, thinking I was still in 7th, but I could have been in 6th. It dropped down the first gear, no problem, dropped down the second gear, no problem. When it went into the third drop down, which I was thinking it was going to be third, thinking it was going to be 4th really, because I thought I was in 7th, and I think I must have been in 6th. So it went down to 3rd gear. When I dropped it down, the 3rd click, I accelerated more or less as soon as I dropped it down. We leapt forward, and the clutch disengaged, and we were freewheeling. At that point, we were doing about 55 miles an hour. Luckily, I actually got into the lane I wanted, and we were just freewheeling. I had no drive whatsoever. We were just coasting along for about a quarter of a mile until we hit our turning to come off, and I managed to get into the next lane, and we just got off the motorway doing about 20 miles an hour with no drive whatsoever. So we stopped. The engine was still running. We stopped, and the engine just ticked over, and we could hear the gearbox sorting itself out. It was changing gears while we were stopped, just ticking over. We left it for a minute, and it was just ticking over. So but there was no neutral sign on here. There was nothing on here at all. So what I did, I switched it off, switched it back on again, and the neutral light came on, and we just continued. We just put it in gear and continued to go home. Since then, I've done about 700 miles on the bike, and we've had no issues whatsoever. The only thing is, I'm frightened of actually going down too many gears in touring mode and accelerating when you've dropped down too many gears, because the clutch just disengaged. But I don't seem to have had any issues whatsoever with the bike, and like I say, we're going on to Portugal so in 10 days time, so hopefully it's just a pre-warning for people about in touring mode, or even in rain mode or economy mode. Don't go down too many gears. When I did go down the 3 gears, I could hear the revs going up, bump, 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 but really I was too concentrated on the road, so I did not know what the revs actually went up to when the clutch dropped out. So that was it really, just a pre-warning. Just be careful about getting into that scenario. So hopefully that's the end of it. So see you around, or maybe on the road. Thanks very much. Bye. Yes, no? Cannot stop it.